what they counted here, and well, I don't quite agree, especially if you pay the bills. Perhaps they counted not without the bills, but in general $300, and well, some low-paid professions, yes, they have $300, maybe $400 per month. We count per month usually.
Or the highest paid profession? Highest paid?
Oh, the highest paid. I think there are no real limitations, because the biggest salaries are the top management of big companies, and it can be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, really, just well. Let me think. Not the highest position. Yes, just one of the lowest top managers will have maybe about $3,000–4,000 per month. And the leading positions, well, I don't really know, and they don't usually give the official numbers. We don't have this habit of sharing how much we earn. Yeah, usually people keep it in secret. Speaking about medical, yes, all people are insured by state obligatory, and it is taken for their service. So medicine is a difficult question. For example, the medical service is included into this insurance. Going to pay more attention to the history of the past and to the glorious time of Russia of the 18th, 19th centuries. We are now on the straight road to Peterhof, and these along the almost all of them are on the coast of the Gulf of Finland. About a kilometer to the right, there will be the Gulf of Finland. We are going along the coast. Things are constructed on the reclaimed land. What I mean? The fact is that the Gulf of Finland is quite shallow. Closer to the city, general depth is about 3 meters only, which is not deep enough, especially for the ships. And that's why for the ships, for the trading routes, they dig the canals in the Gulf of Finland, and the soil taken from the bottom of the Gulf of Finland they put on the shores. Of course, they're quite swampy and marshy, so in this way they manage to make them stronger, more permanent. We are going to pass soon one of the new areas of the city, and it's a kind of investment. I don't know the number of Chinese people living there. 2005, when we celebrated 60 years of victory. And to your right, you can see, and it's even written there 60. 60 years of victory over Nazis. Because during the Second World War in this area there were the fights. And a lot of blood spilled. Nazis were trying to take the city for almost 3 years, and it was the city of the days was called Leningrad. Leningrad, the city of Lenin. This name our city got in 1924 after the death of Lenin. That's the district that I have just mentioned to your right. The construction goes very fast. They started about maybe 20 houses have been built already. In the center, we are going to pass the administrative building, which is shaped like a pearl, a shell and a pearl, and that gives the name to the district, Baltic Pearl. And you can see the flags, Russian flags and Chinese flags in front of it. To your right, you can see it now. This really quite big area which goes from this road and up to the Gulf of Finland. I told you, to your right, in about 1 kilometer distance, there is the Gulf of Finland. Well, but if you use your imagination and think about this road in the 18th, 19th century, it looked completely different. Some visitors, foreign visitors to the country, said that this road reminded them the road from Paris to Versailles, because of many palaces, many summer residences of Russian nobility that were on the both sides. Even now, to your left, you can see some parks. Here, the parks remind us about that days where all the territory was full of, well, a terrible picture. They saw almost all the palace in ruins, with just terrible condition. They even changed the name of the place. Instead of Peterhof, they started to call it Petrodvorets. Irritated people. Well, it took years, decades to restore the place, and many millions. And it laid in ruins for very long. At the beginning of the 21st century, it was still in ruins, and the condition became worse and worse. And then finally, the active citizens of St. Petersburg wrote the letter to the president asking to do something to find investors and to restore it. And he did. The palace was restored, and to your right, you can see now... It was simply restored. It was turned into the official residence of the President of Russia. To your right, you can see this official residence. When we have summits, when the president comes to Russia, to St. Petersburg, he stays in the palace, and some negotiations and summits and meetings take place in this palace. To your right, you can see Constantine Palace, or the Palace of Congress, and the official palace of the official residence of the President of Russia. The territory is well guarded. They give the tours sometimes there, but again, quite limited number of them. And usually when Peter the Great went to his residence, Peterhof, and it was his favorite residence, he founded Peterhof, he went there by sea, by boat, along the coast of the Gulf of Finland. Usually the Tsars had so-called road palaces, the palace on the way, where they could stop, have a break, have rest, and then continue the journey. The journey lasted several hours, and including the break, it occupied the whole day. Not like ours, just now when we are there. Yeah, it was a long process at that days. So we are still going along this Strelna city, which is growing bigger and bigger now. Appeared there in 1705. And the main idea of Peter the Great was not to build a big palace, but to have a beautiful garden there. Peter the Great was the first Russian Tsar who traveled abroad, who saw many European countries, and one of them was France. He went to Paris, he went to Versailles, and he enjoyed the place very much. He decided to have a rival, to be not less beautiful, but even to be more beautiful, more impressive than Versailles. And you know, Peter the Great loved water, all kinds of water, sea, lakes, rivers, and fountains. They were his passion. So that's why you can see right now the yellow long building. It is the former stables, the building from the 19th century. And all around, so they have institutions, universities, buildings for the scientists, well, laboratories, whatever. Yeah, so they have huge plans, and the construction, well, is also the construction site is also very big. And the blue fence to the left, this it's very well. It's not a problem right now. They don't allow raincoats. Yeah, but that's again not the question. They ask not to take big bags or backpacks. Yeah, so this one is okay. Yes, I think ladies' bags. Well, it's just us spring. Usually they open the locks for some fountains at 10:30 because all the museums open 10:30 only, and some after 11. Fast and good, and that's why we are early enough. As soon as we park, or if you are so tired that you can't, spend a minute and a half and you need the bus extremely, and you go to the bus. But before you go, tell me or your tour leader, yes, for us not to look for you. So remember this time, yeah, 12:50, just the last point, yeah, the last moment when we meet and leave. And again, first we will go to the upper garden. I will tell you a bit about this garden, some fountains. Then I will go to get the tickets. Beautiful church, by the way, in Peterhof, named after Peter and Paul, Apostles Peter and Paul, which usually takes about an hour. We will have about maybe 15 minutes for the toilets again and souvenirs, and then we go to have the tour in the park. In case you want to follow me around the park, if you want to spend all the time shopping in the palace, or if you want